Hey guys, Miranda Manticos here, psychic channeler for Divine Feminine Collective. So I want to tell you guys something. It was so special yesterday. So, um, well, let's back up. What is today? So today's Tuesday. Yeah. So Sunday night, I had an amazing vision in the night of multiple realms. Okay. Very good energy, a lot of different things. That's probably for another post, but I just want to touch on this one aspect of it, okay? I could see this vessel in the sky. We're going to call it a vessel in the sky that was cloaked and iridescent. And I could see through it actually. I could see like into it. And it was so beautiful. And it was very close, like right here next to me. And I even said in the dream, wow, why is it so close? Oh my gosh. Like I could reach out and touch it, you know? And there was a lot of different things that the vessel did, and that I watched and that I saw. But basically just kind of imagine like a really, really good vibe, like from all of what I experienced. So then I got up the next day, which was yesterday, and I was telling my husband about it, and I was telling a friend of mine in the office at my husband's business, and then another friend of mine that works with us at both businesses. Um, I was telling her, well, so I told her, I said, I feel like these birds that we're seeing are not what we think they are, like when we're watching the birds. And I said, I know I'm not the only person that thinks this. I said, because there's a girl on my page that posts it too. She's watching the birds and sometimes they disappear and then they reappear. And I was like, and I think I told you guys on one of these posts that I made about me being of a starseed lineage, blue avian. If it's unfamiliar to you, you know, you could look it up. Um, most star seeds on our planet right now have many different lineages, and I actually have other lineages as well. But blue avian is one of them, and that's not a common one. But blue avians come when there's a great need. Okay, so it's they tend to be just very peaceful beings, very loving, very very helpful, and they come usually to assist when there is a great need. And of course, we have a great need right now on our Earth realm, so or in our Earth realm. But that being said, I'm very connected to the aviaries anyway, like all the birds. And when I go walking and I do my meditations, all the little birds will come, ducks, pigeons, crows, like all of them. So anyway, so I said this to my friend. I was like, it just feels like these birds are telling us something. It just feels so special. I'm like, we've really shifted something here. And anyway, that being said, she leaves. And the next thing I know, I heard something hit the window. And we've actually had a bird hit the window of the back of our house before because it's a big window and it just looks like a big wall, of glass. Well, I was like, oh my gosh, what's that? Well, my husband and I run outside with my son and my friend Nefertiti, who works with us in the office. We've been friends for years and years. And this bird hit the window, and we don't know exactly what happened. We don't know if my cat like tried to hit the bird or if it hit the window and it hurt it or whatever, but it fell into the ground and it was laid over on its side and it looked like it was in shock and maybe even having a heart attack. We were just like, oh my God. Well, I've always taught my kids, and my husband has as well, to help and assist nature, to pray with the animals, to just, assist wherever we can. So right away, I throw my hands up and I could feel so much light coming through my hands, just like when I'm doing a session. Okay. So just immediate activation of light, right? Like light's coming through my hands. My husband's praying. My son is praying. My friend Nefertiti's praying, and we're just holding light around this little bird, and he's on his side like shaking and in shock and tremors. And then it was so strange and amazing at the same time. My husband said, look at this. He just sits up. He's like, I'm back. And he's looking around at us like, what just happened? And we're like, you're okay. Everything's okay. We're holding you. It's okay. You're safe. Nothing's going to get you. We're just protecting you while you heal. And we focused light on him. And my son, like, prayed and pet his little wings gently, you know, and it let him pet him. It was so sweet. And my husband covered it with a little bitty light blanket so it wasn't cold, because yesterday was super cold and it couldn't move for a minute. And then all four of us prayed. And then at some point, my son looks at it in its eyes, like lays on the ground and puts his head next to the bird's head and looks at it. And they were like looking at each other's eyes. It was so cute. And then he just gets up and flies away, right? And so for a minute, we're all just processing what happened, that basically this bird, this amazing little creature, healed right in front of our eyes. I've seen birds die from a heart attack like that. Like they'll see a cat and freak out and die. I had a pet years ago, a pet bird that saw my pet cat, and the cat didn't do anything. It just walked in the room and the bird got so scared it died. So I know how fragile really their little systems are if their nervous system is like super hyped up from a situation like that. And it's like we literally witnessed a miracle. It was laid out on the ground about to die, and we all started to pray, and it just sat back up, grounded itself, opened its little eyes, started looking around at us. Like it also was like asking what happened, like what happened to me. And it felt so special. Well, anyway, so that alone was special, but there's more. So he flew up into the tree. We stayed outside for a while. We wanted to make sure no other animals came around while he was like, you know, breathing and just getting his grip on himself. And so he sat in the tree for a while, and then another one came that was a little yellow one. Now the first bird was really, really blue, which of course was like the blue avians to me. I always see bluebirds, but I've never seen this kind of bluebird. This one was new. By the way, I'm going to put pictures of it on this video. So after the video, just watch all the way through, and then you'll see the pictures of the birds. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. And so then this little yellow one comes, right? So back to, we're watching it in the tree and we're talking, and my husband and I were like, okay, what happened? Did Sami, our kitty, jump at it? What happened? So we go and we rearrange the whole back porch so that the bird feeder and the hummingbird feeder cannot be reached by any other furniture. So basically to keep her from jumping up and like launching at them, so they could come and eat safely. So we rearranged the back porch. And I said to my husband, I was like, I feel like they're singing for us, because they started singing like in the trees. It was so sweet. I said, I feel like Mother Earth is saying thank you. Thank you for taking care of my little creatures, you know, my beings, all my little beings. And we have been putting like little things in the backyard, like really just for a whole different reason. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's connected and we just didn't realize it. But I told my husband, I said, really, I said, even though we live in the city, I said, if we were in the country, all scraps of food would just be being turned back into compost or would be going outside for the animals. I said, the way that it's done in the city actually doesn't return the energy to earth, and I don't like that, right? I said, if you are going to eat of the earth, you're going to eat fruits and vegetables and meat and things that come from the planet, you should be doing something to give back to it too. So we've been making this practice of like, there's a little corner in the back of the yard where we put anything like eggshells or, you know, just any little scraps, bread, anything that the kids don't finish, we just throw it back there, and the plants do amazing with it, and the animals get to eat whatever they want. There's a little possum. She's lived in our yard for years. She has babies every year, and she goes and gets what she needs, and everybody's happy. Anyway, but I told my husband, I said, I really feel like Mother Earth is saying thank you for waking up to the need to connect with me and to give back to me and help me, right? No different than when we help our parents or when we help our children. When you pour love into someone, that love comes back to you, right? So yesterday, after all of that, we had come back inside finally. We rearranged the furniture on the patio, got it all straight, watched the little birdie, made sure he could fly, and he did eventually fly off. And then I came back, I was walking back by the back window, and the kids were actually wrestling. So I don't even know how I noticed this, because they're like wrestling on the couch, you know, being silly. And I look in the back, and there is a whole bunch of these little birds, y'all. It has to be, I don't even know how many, because there were so many in the trees too. but maybe there were 10 on the ground, 10 or 12 or maybe even 15 at different times coming in, all these little bluebirds in the backyard. Oh my God, it felt like their way of saying thank you, like thank you for what you did for our brother, and thank you for rearranging the furniture and trying to make it work for everybody, even for our kitty. In other words, thank you for being the bridge between the worlds. And I think that we can all do that on some level, right? Find a way to show kindness and be the light and be the kindness that you're seeking, right? And so it's just an awesome little moment. And I'm gonna post the little pictures of it so y'all can see the bluebird and the video of all the little birds eating in the backyard. They were so cute. So I hope you're having a magical day and that you will experiment with that a little bit with nature and talk to the trees and the animals and see what happens. It was awesome. So I love you guys. We'll talk soon.